All right, so I want to start out by making fun of Tim Pool. And I know it's an easy thing to do. It's not a very difficult thing to do. He very often gives you plenty of reasons to make fun of him because he is the kind of guy that just kind of says things out into the ether, hoping that people are going to respond, and then, like, they do, obviously, but it is still a little sad, some of the things that he has to say here. Now, he's done a recent video on The Boys, and I want to talk about it here. Now, granted, he seems to like The Boys, and I like The Boys as well. I think that there are areas where it is written poorly, but I think that in general, it's a pretty fun show. And honestly, any show that can make a character make you feel on edge whenever they're in a room for any amount of time is just such a... That is a good sign of a good actor, a good director. That is a good sign in general. There are definitely things to like about the show. That said, Tim's got some words to say about the cast of the show, and I think that they're kind of interesting.
Sometimes I gain and lose weight. You can see it, like, I get fatter and skinnier depending on the season, but I still generally look the same. Oh my God. Yo, man. So here's another photo. Now, this is the one that Erin Moriarty heavily criticized because she said this photo is her at like 20 and this is her in her 30s. She tried claiming this right here. She's obviously got lip fillers and buccal fat removal, and it's disgusting.
So I can understand having an opinion about plastic surgery, right? I'm not the biggest fan of most end results when it comes to plastic surgery, but there are certainly uses for it. I think that it's an incredibly useful tool whenever somebody's a burn victim. I think it's an incredibly useful tool when somebody is trans and needs their body to be shaped differently. I think it's a useful tool when somebody has dysmorphia and we need to help them with that. There's plenty of applications for it, but if the argument here is going to be, you were prettier before, okay, and? Like, that's not your body. Who cares? Of all the things to criticize somebody for, taking steps to do things with their body that they wanted is just normal and fine. Like, I don't want to normalize everybody taking plastic surgery because not everybody needs it, but there is a divide between supporting something such that everybody wants to do it and supporting something because it's at least useful for us to have access to. Now, Tim Pool having opinions about women's bodies certainly has the time and place for us to make fun of it, and we've already had it here, but let's go ahead and see where things get a little weird, because I think Tim Pool's beanie might be a little too tight on this one.
Like, I'm not trying to be mean, dude, but we have to stop encouraging women to do this stuff to their faces. You know what my theory is? Women are getting all this surgery because they want to look like trans women.
Two things. One, if the picture that you're showing right here is Erin Moriarty in a recent photo, and obviously it's photoshopped a little bit. Every celebrity's photos ever are going to be photoshopped or airbrushed to a certain degree. But if that's the case, strangely enough, she doesn't look anywhere near as bad in this photo right here as the one that you showed earlier. So which one is the real Erin Moriarty that we're supposed to be criticizing? Which one of these is actually the face to criticize? Because this one right here doesn't look terribly different because she's just doing the smolder look instead of the absolute smile look. And yes, I'm definitely avoiding talking about the elephant in the room where he thinks that looking like a trans woman is some kind of trend. How? The group of people who, by the way, there's no one unifying look for in the first place. I'm sorry, there's just as many non-passing cis women and non-passing trans women as there are passing and beautiful trans women, and everybody in between. Who knows, who cares? Everybody's body is going to be a little bit different. That said, I can't think of any, like, one specific trans woman look. So what the fuck are you talking about? This conspiracy that, like, actually looking trans is a trend, and these celebrities are going to be chasing the trend of looking trans. How would that help them in any way, shape, or form? there is certainly something to be said about casting a trans woman in a space where everybody is going to celebrate that for a little bit because, yay, representation. And that's entirely fine. I think that's a good thing. But the conspiracy theory that actually the women are doing this, not because of some greater trend of beautification that's been going on for the past 60 fucking years, not because of magazines that have been glorifying a particular look, which was the argument until magazines became something that nobody gave a shit about anyway. No, it's none of that. No. It's the trans people. It's gotta be the trans people. It has to be linked to them somehow. Cis women aren't as beautiful as I would like them in my TV shows. It's gotta be the fault of those damn dirty trans women. How? How do you get to... Not how do you get to a point where you're this stupid? Because, like, Dimfool is 100% a name that we've used for him in the past for a good reason. That's not my concern. My concern is, how do people listen to Tim Pool and take him seriously? So, like, if you're a member of my audience right now, and you also happen to be a member of Tim Pool's audience, when he says something like this, do you, like, slap your head against drywall, or do you just kind of memory hole that it happened so that you can get to the next episode? Like, I'm not saying that I'm not the type of person to not say stupid shit on the stream sometimes, but that is nightmarishly stupid shit.
Like, guys that want to be women, they have to get feminizing surgery that makes it look like they had surgery.
So, not true, actually. I actually have some pretty good examples as to why that's not the case. There not only is a trans woman whom I'm dating, who has not gotten any of those surgeries above the waist or anything like that, that would change the body in a way that most people would be able to see. So, my question is, why has nobody had a problem with that? Why does nobody point that out when I go around? Oh, right, it's because she passes. And she's not the only one. I have a handful of friends who are trans who, just through having HRT, have been able to pass so incredibly well that there's nobody who would even make the weird mistake of, that's a dude, actually. Now, granted, it's not this way for everybody. Not everybody has the build that can, like, just turn into the traditional feminine body that everybody glorifies on the internet. Not everybody has the build that can go to that, even with HRT. But HRT does distribute fat in such a way that it starts to put it in far more shapely areas of your body, and also it can do some things when it comes to hair loss, which is incredibly useful, but I'm not saying that for any particular reasons. I'm not balding or anything. I actually am balding. But I happen to know enough trans women who just through HRT alone, no surgeries or anything at all to change their composition, have managed to get to the point where they pass out in society perfectly fine and can go out to the beach in bikinis and shit and not run into any problems whatsoever. So, like, he's just kind of wrong, because there's plenty of people who buck the trend that he's trying to argue exists here. But more than that, even if it was the case that they all needed to have these surgeries, they don't always look like they've had surgery. There's not just because we have plenty of medical advancements that have made it to where plastic surgery is harder to spot, and there's other things that have been done recently in the form of top surgery, where we've gotten new methods of utilizing what we have available for top surgery so that it's no longer as noticeable that somebody has a rack that isn't 100% natural. There's certainly been advancements in the medical field in that area and in facial feminization and all of this. Anytime we have a doctor learning how to reconstruct a face from a burn victim, all of those same principles apply when reconstructing a face for a trans woman. But it's not just that. Again, there are certain people whose bodies are such that you only need a tiny amount of touch-up in order to make that body look the way that they want, or that they want to outwardly show. This idea that, like, the surgery is necessary kind of flies in the face of all the trans people who I've met. Like, there's plenty of surgeries that they would like to have, but in terms of necessity, plenty of them just kind of go, yeah, I got my body to where I want to be and I'm happy. And that, again, happens more often than you'd think. But anyway, conspiracy theory about women wanting to look trans, beanie too tight. Let's continue.
So regular women are trying to look like that's why women love drag shows. I'm like half kidding.
Half kidding. Okay, so where is the line? Is the line at the women loving drag shows? Is that where the line is? Is the line somewhere else, Tim? Like, I'm just kind of curious. Which one is it supposed to be? Is it that, or is it the fact that they want to look like trans women? Like, where is the line for kidding here? I have to know.
From Rememore, everything about Starlight actress Erin Moriarty's plastic surgery. Well, she denied it. She said she did not get plastic surgery. This is from 2024. I'm
also curious, like, so there is an aspect of celebrity that I have been confused about for my entire life. Why the fuck does anybody care? Like, that, just truly and honestly, when you wake up in the morning, why is the thought in your head, some celebrity got a boob job, some celebrity got a nose job? That makes me upset, or I think that's something worth talking about. There was a time where Tim Pool was a figure in the political sphere who was known for being one of the few people who would actually go on the ground and go to a place and shoot video of the thing he was talking about, and that was where he got a lot of the respect in his early years. So how do we go from that to, I'm gonna go ahead and call it what it is, shitty cosmopolitan tabloids? Because that's all this is. At this point, why would anybody be interested in this? Like, I'm only interested in it because I saw the Surfs post about the trans conspiracy theory. So me and Nyaro were on a call and we found the episode itself, and I was like, okay, cool. I want to talk about that because when his beanie gets too tight, that's really entertaining. But the other stuff surrounding this, why would anybody give two shits?
She got rhinoplasty. She clearly did. I mean, it just looks like she did. I don't know. Maybe she didn't, but I would say many fans have compared Erin Moriarty's before and after plastic surgery photos, suggesting that her nose shape has changed. When we compare before and after photos, there's a noticeable change in the shape. Her nose looks a bit thinner and more defined, which could be the result of rhinoplasty. Indeed. Oh, lip fillers is a no-brainer. She can't talk anymore. Literally, she can't talk. There are also claims that Erin Moriarty...
Literally, she can't talk anymore? Then who was shooting in the episode of The Boys that aired a couple days ago? Who was that? That said, as well, this is, at least from what I can tell, an image from 3 weeks ago. She doesn't look like she's had as much work as what we see in this photo here. And this photo looks like it's a lot less touched up. I don't... Why do people give a shit about this? Like, I can take a moment to try to figure this stuff out because somebody apparently cares about it for a nanosecond, but why does it matter? Is this just to get the normies in, Tim? Is that what this is? Is that the goal here?
Moriarty's lips appear fuller than before. Although Moriarty has never publicly stated she had a lip lift or fillers, it's noticeable that her upper lip looks a little fuller. Just watch the show and she's talking like this because her lip won't move anymore. That's weird. Botox and dermal fillers. She's, let's see, her plastic surgery is more defined and youthful facial features have led to speculations about her using Botox and dermal fillers. These treatments are often used to reduce wrinkles and add volume to the face. I gotta be honest, if she had some wrinkles, it'd be fine.
I mean, I agree with that, but again, in the picture that I just looked up that apparently is from 3 weeks ago, she does have a little bit of wrinkling right here and here. Mostly it's smile dimples because she looks like she's a person that fucking enjoys life. But, I don't know, Tim. I ain't seeing it. Not when I look at a random image that I've just pulled, instead of the very specifically chosen image for the very narrow argument that was needed here, which, may I remind you, is part of his thesis as to why cis women are trying to turn into trans women in the looks department. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't see the trend that you're arguing here. I don't. It feels so strange to me. Sean Evelyn says, look, I need to watch Invincible. Sure, they both have the Nazi space superpowered guys, but one is being beaten into intelligence and the other one, is not. Also, it proves positive that Nazi systems don't work because there's only 50 of them. Well, actually, less. Okay, I'm not. Sean, I love you to death. There are run-on sentences there, and I'm not going to try to read through them anymore. Axo says, does Tim not realize the content he does also feeds into why women feel the need to get cosmetic surgery? That's a thing. Like, so when you spend a ton of time scrutinizing a woman's look, right? When you spend a ton of time about it, and I'm talking about real women, like fetishize about anime women or video game women all you want. They're not real, whatever. But when we're talking about real women and you're constantly talking about it in this way, you do end up feeding into the exact same culture that creates the need, at least the mental need for these people to go and do these plastic surgeries in the first place. Because that, like, let's pretend for instance that this image right here is, yes, of the same person, but is just a heavily doctored image, or there's something else going on here, whatever. Again, the more recent photos of her seem to look far closer to how she's looked for years, and when I've watched The Boys, she doesn't look that much different there either. So, here's my theory. You scrutinize this so much, saying that why would you get these fillers? Why would you get this this done to your body? Why would you get it? And then in the event that no work has been done, don't you just end up creating the thought in the person's head of like, oh no, I look like a monster. Maybe I need to fix that with the exact same surgery that you don't want me to get. It feels confusing. Sean says, let's not remark at the fact that they're in Hollywood. That's why plastic surgeries... They're in Hollywood, and there's a reason why plastic surgery is extremely popular there. I mean, they did 2 sitcom series about it. They did. I mean, there's probably more than that as well. But yes, when you're working in Hollywood, plastic surgery is a little more normalized there for one reason or another. Like that is an industry, for better or worse, that is not... it is expected in that industry to see people go through very, very massive body changes.
I don't know in what reality women thought this looked good. I'm telling you, women are watching drag shows, and other women are going.
You know what's funny? So you point that out, but the picture on the left looks a lot like Melania Trump, doesn't it? And it's weird because there's actually an entire, I didn't know about this until recently, by the way. There is an entire like subculture of women that want to look like Melania Trump. It doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't realize they fucking existed, but apparently they do. Jessica Davis says, yeah, no, it's gross. It's weird. It's strange to me. So I can at least agree with Tim here on the fact that is kind of weird. I'm only gonna watch for a little bit more. Actually, you know what? No. I'm not worried about the women shit anymore. I want to go back to how he actually began this video, because that part was a little more interesting to me, outside of the weird conspiracy theory.
The final season of The Boys has been released. 2 episodes are now available on Amazon Prime, and I like the show. Despite it being kind of psychotic, liberal nonsense, there's still enough of the show.
Psychotic, liberal nonsense. I wouldn't describe it that way so much. It's more of a very, very hyperbolized warning about what happens when corporations have way more control than they should. That's not psychotic liberal nonsense. That's just any dystopian thing ever.
And the angle on superheroes that I do appreciate. So I will check it out, but man, has it been getting bad. And you know, season 5 is just, it's getting bad.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Rewind that? Did you just say that you haven't seen season 5? Because you're gonna see it, you're gonna watch it, but then right afterwards you say season 5's getting bad? Which is it? Did you watch it? Or did you not watch it? Hold on. I have to be hearing things.
Bad, and you appreciate. So I will check it out, but man, has it been getting bad. And you know...
Yeah, that kind of implies that you are going to be seeing it, but you had not yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Let me know in the comment section below, but that feels like a weird turn of language there. I don't want to sit here and say Tim Pool's a grifter. I want to believe that people believe the things that they say. To have an opinion, a strong one, about something you have not yet seen is also something that confuses the shit out of me.
Oh, season 5 is just, it's getting bad. I mean, let me just start by saying Frenchie, this character, randomly becomes gay in the last season and then is not gay anymore or whatever. I don't know. These people are insane. They have no idea what they're doing. And
okay, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. The only thing in the Boys TV show that has led me to believe that the writers don't know what they're doing has been Huey's character, because Huey as a character is supposed to be the best of them, the person that does not end up using the same type of tactics as Butcher does, but then he goes on an arc in the first season where he does start learning to use those tactics, and then he has to get regressed back to a more like civilized version of himself in the later seasons. But that's also just a very common thing that happens in just real life. People get pushed for one reason or another into a position where they have to do something reprehensible, they have to do something awful, they have to make a decision that they don't want to do, and it can lead them down a path that they don't want, and then at the end of that path, they can come back from that and realize, no, I was going down a road I ought not have gone down. That's a fairly common thing that happens with people. So even with that criticism of Huey, like, I don't think that the show necessarily is not doing something realistic. There's plenty of things the show does that I actually have really enjoyed. Like, whenever it had, I don't know why I can't remember her name for the life of me for a second now, but the Nazi girl. The Nazi girl. The entire subplot with the Nazi girl I thought was fucking fascinating, and I've used that as an example of stochastic terrorism on my show because it's a very, very good example of stochastic terrorism in general. I wish I was better with names, but Stormfront. That was her name. Stormfront. Could not remember for the life of me. I don't know why I'm like that. I do not know why I'm like that. I remember one time calling Wesker Simmons in Resident Evil 5, even though I damn well know which one's which.
And they're just throwing a big budget behind this idea of superheroes having flaws or whatever. Well, my friends, Erin Moriarty, the actress behind Starlight, the principal protagonist of the season, is getting absolutely roasted because people are saying she looks disgusting. And we have this image here.
Again, that's every weird fucking person on the internet. So, like, here's what happens. Guys see famous women because they're going to be more exposed to famous women than they are to, like, the neighbor down the street. The shows they watch, the movies they watch, the things that they see on television, that's when they're going to see famous women. Anytime they see that famous woman, I promise you, there's a non-zero amount of them that have weird fucking fantasies about them. And again, there is a delineation between, like, Erin Moriarty, the real person, and Erin Moriarty, the idea. So it's not the weirdest thing in the world for somebody to have, like, a celebrity crush or a celebrity fantasy. That's not the weirdest thing in the world. It's when they start taking it to a very, very far parasocial level that it starts getting a bit out of fucking hand. And that's kind of what happens here, when suddenly everybody has something to say about a person's looks, and they can't just shut the fuck up. They can't just realize that, like, not every inside thought in your head needs to be an outside thought. I don't know.
Here from season 1, and I'm going to say this, look. I don't want to be mean to Erin Moriarty, but she did this to herself, okay? Now, for those that aren't familiar, she had this video, this photo that went viral that showed what she used to look like when the show first started, and then after she got a bunch of surgeries and looked like an alien. That's what people were saying. I am not saying that. Maybe. But she...
The maybe there makes me think that maybe you are saying that, you little gremlin. But, okay. So, again, why don't we do a thing? Why don't we do something that actually will make it a little easier to tell something, right? We look at The Boys Season 5, and we're going to see how fast we get demonetized when we do this. Because I know that you're going to see Starlight somewhere in here.
And what is it?
Get to work.
It'd be the
Weekend.
works.
Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da.
Last chance. The only thing we have left is hope.
That's beta male shit, bro. Noir, am I right?
Preach.
Those who seek to destroy me.
Hold on. Go back to this.
Those who seek to...
She just looks fucking normal. What? What are you talking about? This is the first front-facing, not contorted because of motion image there that I can see. She just looks fucking normal. What? Okay. What is there to talk about then? There already wasn't something to talk about, but she just looks like her. I don't see it. I don't see the weird alien thing outside of, like, the specifically pictured images for that. And, like, that's a thing that happens on the internet all the time, where an image of something can go viral that doesn't necessarily portray what's actually being shown. It's a distortion. Because there's a smear frame somewhere, or you get somebody, like, in the middle of speaking, so their face just looks fucking horrible. Sean says, okay, tabloids, you need to go back and lay down and take your meds and stop sitting down and listening to your AI therapist agent.
Destroy me. The non-believers and backstabbers.
Go back here. Is there another one that shows it, or is it just that? That's it. Okay. Then the only thing of interest at all during any of this was Tim Pool's weird idea that women are getting surgeries to look like trans women. I don't know how you get to that. I kind of wish he would have elaborated on that a little bit, because surely there is no way to square that circle in a way that is comprehensible, right? Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.